From Pacifica, this is Democracy Now!
There's a 20-some-year-old woman out there that's a medical student in her medical school when the earthquake happened. Was spared life for 3 days and survived by drinking of the blood of other people around her.
As the people of Haiti continue to struggle for survival, we bring you stories of desperation and stories of courage.
Incroyable.
Incredible.
Une force une envie de vivre.
She had a desire to live.
J'ai jamais vu ça.
I've never seen that.
And all the prisoners jailed at the National Penitentiary in Port-au-Prince escaped in the earthquake. We'll speak with a leading Haitian human rights attorney. He says 80% of all prisoners in Haiti, perhaps more, have never been charged with a crime. The earthquake set them free. All that and more coming up. Welcome to Democracy Now!, democracynow.org, the War and Peace Report. I'm Amy Goodman. The recovery effort continues in Haiti amidst a rising death toll and fears of infectious outbreaks among desperate survivors. The European Commission now says around 2 million people have been homeless, up from previous estimates of 1.5 million. More than 10,000 bodies are now being buried in mass graves in a single day. Aid groups are warning of outbreaks of diseases and infections amongst the hundreds of thousands crammed into makeshift refugee camps. The U.S., meanwhile, is being accused of prioritizing the delivery of troops and military equipment over direly needed aid. Doctors Without Borders legal director François Saulnier says a plane carrying over 12 tons of aid was turned back from landing 3 times this week.
Now everything has been mixed together, and the urgent and vital attention to the people have been delayed, while military logistic, which is useful, but not on day 3, not on day 4, but maybe on day 8, this military logistic has really jammed the airport and, led to this mismanagement, real mismanagement of vital issues.
The Doctors Without Borders plane was diverted to the Dominican Republic, delaying the aid delivery by 3 days. At a Haitian hospital Wednesday, Doctors Without Borders field coordinator Pip Millard said medical workers are struggling to treat earthquake survivors.
We've got a surgical team here who are doing surgery. We're having to do amputations. We've got some really severe wounds, lots of fractured limbs, both arms, legs, many different kind of crush injuries. And also one of the other problems that we're really encountering is lack of supplies. We're running out of things very quickly.
The International Monetary Fund has backed off an effort to impose new loans on Haiti. Last week, the IMF said it would provide Haiti with $100 million under an extension of a previous loan. The initial funds imposed conditions including wage freezes for public sector workers, inflation controls, and price hikes for electricity. But after the public outcry, the IMF released a statement claiming the new $100 million will now come without conditions. U.S. immigration officials say they expect up to 200,000 undocumented Haitians to apply for temporary protected status, or TPS, in the coming weeks. The program would grant 18-month work permits to Haitians who were in the U.S. when the earthquake struck. Haitian refugees arriving after the earthquake date will continue to face deportation. We'll have more on Haiti after headlines. President Obama is set to propose new regulations today for large Wall Street firms. The measures would limit the size of large banks as well as the practice known as proprietary trading, in which commercial banks trade financial securities from their own commercial accounts. Former Federal Reserve Chair Paul Volcker has been a leading advocate for the proposals. He says it would help undo some of the damage of the 1999 repeal of the Glass-Steagall Act, which had ensured the separation of commercial and investment banking. The expected announcement comes one day after President Obama signed an executive order to crack down on government contractors who avoid paying taxes.
I'm directing my budget office, together with the Treasury Department and other federal agencies, to take steps to block contractors who are seriously delinquent in their taxes from receiving new government contracts. I'm also directing the IRS to conduct a review of the overall accuracy of companies' claims about tax delinquencies.
Previous government studies have found thousands of companies have received government contractors despite owing billions in taxes. 22 executives and employees working in the private military industry have been arrested in a sting operation accusing them of trying to pay bribes to win lucrative foreign contracts. The FBI says the accused agreed to pay a commission to an FBI agent posing as a representative of an African defense minister, tendering a $15 million deal. The Justice Department says the case is the largest ever under the Foreign Corrupt Practices Act. The Justice Department has released a report on the FBI's illegal collection of thousands of telephone records between 2002 and 2006. The report says agents obtained information on more than 3,500 phone numbers through emails, sticky notes, and even the practice of computer sneak peeks. On Wednesday, Senate Judiciary Chair Patrick Leahy criticized the FBI.
This was authorized at high levels within the FBI and continued for years. I understand Director Mueller of the FBI has worked to correct his abuses. But this report is a sobering reminder of the significant abuse of this broad authority. No one is above the law. No senator and no member of the FBI. And there has to be accountability for what happened here.
In Israel and the occupied territories, United Nations agencies have joined with over 80 relief and aid groups to call for an end to the Israeli blockade of the Gaza Strip. UN resident humanitarian coordinator Max Gaillard says Israel's stranglehold over Gaza is endangering Palestinian lives. As aid groups warn about the Israeli blockade of Gaza, Israel's renewing calls for long-term control over the West Bank. On Wednesday, the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said Israel must retain large swaths of the West Bank under any peace deal that would establish a Palestinian state. Netanyahu said Israel must also maintain troops in the Jordan Valley, dividing the West Bank from Jordan, surrounding Palestinians from both sides. The incoming Honduran government has signed an accord calling for the exit of the ousted President Manuel Zelaya. On Wednesday, President-elect Porfirio Lobo reached a deal that would grant Zelaya safe passage to the Dominican Republic. Zelaya has taken refuge in the Brazilian embassy since returning to Honduras in September. Lobo was elected in a November race boycotted by Zelaya supporters. Zelaya says he'll review the safe passage deal. In Texas, the presiding judge of the Texas Court of Criminal Appeals has been cleared of wrongdoing in a closely watched case. Sharon Keller faced 5 charges of judicial misconduct for refusing to hear a last-minute appeal from a death row prisoner scheduled to be executed that night. Keller denied an appeal from the lawyers for Michael Wayne Richard at 5:20 p.m. on September 25, 2007, saying, quote, "We close at 5. Richard had been on death row for 2 decades. He was killed later that night by lethal injection. On Wednesday, the special judge appointed to hear the complaint sided with Keller and said she deserves, quote, "no further reprimand beyond the public humiliation she has surely suffered." The Obama administration has lifted a Bush-era ban on 2 Muslim scholars who are barred from entering the United States. On Wednesday, the State Department said Adam Habib and Tariq Ramadan are no longer deemed a security threat and will be allowed to apply for entry visas. Ramadan was offered a position at the University of Notre Dame in Ohio in 2004. The Bush administration initially barred his entry without explanation and then said it was because he once gave money to a Palestinian charity. A South African social scientist, Habib, was deported in 2006 after traveling to the United States for a series of academic meetings. In a statement, the American Civil Liberties Union